Taylor, are you here for Leaders Lead the podcast? Let's go. Hey, how did you beat me? Look, let me tell you about this podcast. We got like 5 seconds. Leaders Lead the podcast is about leadership. Not just the leader without, but the leader within. All of these leaders that I'm talking to across the country, well, across the world now, they have one thing in common, and that's that they have overcome some insurmountable obstacles to get to where they're at today. Come on, let's go. Hey, welcome. This is Leaders Lead the podcast. I am live. First off, before we start, I want to say thank you to Parade Deck for sponsoring this event. I want to say thank you to Stars and Stripes. Thank you for my buddy, Andrew Appleton. He's been putting in so much work, him and his amazing team. So I want to say thank you to you, Andrew. This is Leaders Lead, the 75th edition. I am super excited to share this moment with somebody that I've been following for the last 3 years. When I met this brother, let me tell you, I freaking fell in love with him. I fell in love with his passion, fell in love with his drive. And oh my God, when I heard his story for the very first time, that's when I fell in love with the man himself, Aubrey McDade. He is one of 15 Marines to ever win a Navy Cross. So I want to bring Aubrey up right now, and I want to talk to him, not just about his heroic actions on the battlefield, but the things that he's doing right now, this very moment. What's going on, brother? It's good to see you.
Oh, man, it's good to see you too, bro. Thanks for having me.
Dude, I was thinking there would be no other person that I would rather do this with today than do this with you, man. We've been in contact for the last couple of years, man. And I just want to tell you, man, I'm so excited for what's coming for you. I'm so excited about the impact that you're getting ready to make on the world, bro. Welcome to the show, man.
Oh, man, I appreciate that, man. And before we get started, bro, I want to just thank you too, dog. Like a lot of, you know how it is when you get a safety brief to your junior Marines, when somebody gives a safety brief to the staff sergeant or the platoon sergeant or whatever, you know, when you out, you know, and you got the decorations and got the retirement, everybody think you good, you know, but you don't really have people that really reach out to, you know what I mean, just really make sure you're good. And you've been wanting to do it for me, man. I really do appreciate that.
Man, dude, thank you for saying that. I know when we met, one thing that I thought that was really cool about you was how humble you were. And I tell my wife this story all the time. I remember leaning forward and asking your wife, like, I bet you didn't know how famous this freaking dude is, did you? She's like, nah. And I tell my wife, I was like, man, if I did what that dude did, everybody would know about it. But
I'm at that point now. And obviously not coming from a cocky and arrogant standpoint, but we need some help, man. We need some help. Our babies out here struggling. They need some help. And if it is to be, it's up to me. So I say, let's go for it. So
you taking that on head on. Is that what you're going after? Is helping our babies out here so that they can have a brighter path and a bigger future?
Yeah, man. So I was listening to Andrew talk a few minutes ago when he was doing his thing, man. He talked about, you know, a lot of people get out here and they want to try to save the world. And, you know, if he can just save one, you know, and I had to adopt that same mentality, man, because you can't save everybody. And another thing they were talking about, you know, being spiritual. You know, God is the man. God is the real OG for me. And 10 toes down with God. And you know, I work with LaDainian Tomlinson, Hall of Fame running back, San Diego Chargers for the people who don't watch football. And he came back to Texas, man. He wanted to start this program called LTAC, which stands for Leadership, Teamwork, Accountability, and Character. And our overarching mission, our mission statement, if you will, is to establish high production cultures and develop elite citizens, put good people into the world. And it kind of just found me. You know, I was working a job at Berry Desk, formerly known Berry Desk, now Berry. And did that for about 18 months, and this opportunity just came and found me. Literally, one of my Marines that I was in Fallujah with, Rick Mustin, shout out to Rick, He took his kids to a football camp and seen that they had a leadership component there. And obviously, Rick being a hard charging Marine, he looks into it a little bit more. And he tells, hey man, y'all want a guy who can really turn this thing on his head? I got somebody. And met up with Cliff Dean. Cliff Dean is a Marine from the early 90s. And he and I kind of just butted heads like Rams do. He was trying to be all tough and stuff, man. I respect the award, man, but and all this whole other hogwash. And I was like, man, I don't care about none of that either, man. You put me in the ring I need to be in when it comes to these kids. That's where I want to be at. So we operate in underserved communities, Title I schools. Title I just means reduced lunch. And that's a sweet spot for me, man. I mean, that's where I come from. So to go back there and talk to these young men and women that come from conditions similar to mine and help them be able to get out of their situation and make a better decision, a better choice, have a better life. It's priceless, bro. It's priceless.
Wow, man. Yeah, kudos to you, man. You're out there saving lives. In your speech, I was going to ask you this. I meant to ask you this a couple of years ago, but you apologized for disappearing. What was that about, man?
Oh man, I went through it, bro. I went through it, man. Come back from Fallujah, February 1st, 2005, and during that time, PTSD wasn't really recognized as a real illness. And furthermore, I never even knew what it was. I just felt like I'm going through something right now, but I've been through tougher things. I'll be fine. You ever sleep on your arm wrong? You get like the pins and needles feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine your whole body feeling like that, bro. And imagine going to a rock band concert, like heavy metal, but leaving the concert and the concert still in your brain and you can't turn it off. I experienced that for like 12 years, bro. And left Parasol and went to become a Marine Corps drill instructor in San Diego. And how I was able to do it, like the doctor's like, man, I don't understand how you're not dead. For 12 years you did this. I was a drill instructor. I make recruits scream or bust their hearts out of their chest and take my mind off of it, right? And but like by 12 years, man, I really was sleeping off 4 hours of sleep at best. 4 hours of sleep is a good night. I went for about 12 years, averaging between 2 and 4 hours of sleep, just because of all the stuff. I just couldn't sleep. I mean, it helped me be a good drill instructor, but it doesn't help me with my quality of life, right? And so when I got out, at San Diego, I became drill instructor school instructor and did a couple of cycles there and doing a Marine Corps ball in 2014, doing a Marine Corps ball. They start doing taps and they do a roll call and they ring that bell, bro, and I wig out. I don't know what it was, man. I felt like sunk in place, bro. Like they ring that bell and I just lose it. And my wife at the time, she was like, we can't keep doing this. We've been doing this for 12, almost 13 years. You need to go get some help. And my first son at the time, he was like, man, you don't got to prove nobody. You done did a couple of DI school classes. You're a freaking Navy Cross recipient. You're a gunner sergeant in the Marine Corps. He said, as you're a senior enlisted, but also as your friend, go get some help. And I went and got
3 tours too, right?
Yeah. I went to Fallujah twice, school once. And so I went and got some help, man. And what initially was supposed to be an hour appointment was like 3 hours. And I went in there and I finally, for the first time ever, I really just had to relive Fallujah, man. And I told this little lady, Lieutenant Garofalo, she wasn't even, I don't know if they call him in the Navy, but she hadn't even really fully finished her internship, if you will, to become a doctor in the Navy. So she was still kind of just practicing. And she got some good because I let her the last have it. And bro, she told me, she said, you went back to Fallujah. And when I came back too, man, her desk was tore up and knocked all over and she was in the corner, hiding behind her clipboard and stuff. And I just felt terrible, man. But went through 3 years and give or take about 4 months, 3 days a week, group therapy, twice a month, individual therapy. I even went to alcohol groups on Tuesday, not because I'm an alcoholic, but because alcoholism runs parallel PTSD. And throughout my therapy, I met my man, Ross Blaine, who was my anchor, bro. Like, this man literally helped carry me to the finish line. Although I got medically retired, he helped carry me to the finish line. And when I was going through all that stuff, I really was fighting to try to stay in the Marine Corps. But then I had an ankle surgery, and I just kind of I had too much going on in my mind. So when I got out, transitioned to be a civilian, I go through a divorce and all that stuff. And I remember who I was before Fallujah, man. I look like him. I mean, a little bit more here now, but I look like him. And but I don't feel like him, man. And I had to go through that thing with my wife at the time, and it wasn't anything bad. It's just, PTSD and all that stuff affected our marriage, and we just kind of just grew apart and moved back up to Fort Worth and just trying to find myself, man. And I hid out. I hid out because I didn't think that I was ready to be having conversations like this, and also I'd already put work in to get past where I was at. But I think more importantly, two things, and I'm going to say one of them because I feel like a coward for feeling this way. I didn't want to be on the hook. I didn't want to be on the hook for being someone else's shoulder or someone else's hand up when I hadn't even got myself fully up. And the second thing was I was just searching for myself, man. And somebody, when you talk to people, sometimes they're stuck in a place. And unintentionally, when you're having a conversation with them, they drag you back. And I was like, nah, man, I done made too much work. Let me go and stay where I'm at, because my kids, at least my kids not afraid of me no more. I'm getting a good relationship with them. My sons respect me, even though my wife and I at the time was divorced. She and I still had a good relationship, and I need to get healthier for myself. So yeah, man, I head out. I still can't tell you anything about Facebook or Instagram. I just started getting on that crap. But yeah, I did, man. I felt like a coward, man, because I didn't have the courage to talk to other people about what it was they were experiencing, especially my own personal Marines, because I missed them. I missed them severely. I missed them, bro. And so talking to them, I knew was going to just take me in a place I didn't want to be at. So I'm actually getting a chance to go see them here next week, though. My old platoon sergeant is getting ready to retire from the Marine Corps. So I'm feeling pretty good about that, dog.
Wow. Bro, you said, and I'm sure everybody that's listening, I'm sure they feel the same way. When they heard you say, I missed them, bro, like that was pretty deep. And I can tell that you missed them. I can tell that they missed you, man. I saw hundreds of people like sharing the post, just happy to see you, telling stories about how you've impacted them. You say that you felt like a coward, and I'm sure that you know better now, but I want to give you this affirmation, me and you right now, and I'm sure the world that's listening right now to us will agree. Dude, you were getting healed. You were getting healed. You were getting stronger so that you can do what you're doing right now. And there's nothing fucking wrong with that, bro. There's nothing wrong with that. And dude, I'm just super inspired by you and your journey. Just the fact that you're stepping up and you're willing to put these kids on your back. You're willing to be so vulnerable and show the rest of the folks that are still going through the same stuff that you were going through. You got healed so that you can heal them. So, dude, I want to say thank you. And that is the most honorable thing that you can do is heal yourself, bro.
It's hard, bro. Like you know that saying we used to have. Hold on, man. You know that saying you used to have in the Marine Corps. Sometimes you was a victim of your success. Like if you're a shit hot Marine, you're gonna be on every freaking duty. Anything that's gonna make the company look hot, you're gonna do it. The Marine Corps gave me everything, bro. Like I come from the worst of the worst out here in Texas, man. And to get to the Marine Corps and really be able to make like blood, that just comes to the territory. But to really be able to make some lifelong brothers and people that I can still depend on and call right now, it's priceless. So I had everything, man, and it was nothing for me to be that guy for everybody else because I had everything I wanted. Maybe I set the bar too low for myself, but when I graduated high school, bro, I was the most successful person in my family. So the Marine Corps was just a plus. And when I get there, like this ain't that bad. This ain't that bad. And I was always that guy, man, for everybody. And it wasn't one of the things that, look at me, I'm going to be here for you. It's just like, this is how I express, this is how I love people, bro. So if you need me, I got you. If it's keeping you out of jail, or if it's coming to pick you up, or if it's lending you something, or if it's training you, or working out with you, or whatever it is, I volunteer to be that guy, man, because I'm in a much better space than I was in my life.
Wow. And it sounds like you came so far to get to this point, man. Dude, thank you. Just like Shelly just said, dude, thank you for sharing your story, because dude, it's impacting so many people, because we don't have people like us that can tell our story and come from a place of vulnerability. I know there's a lot of people right now, they're like, oh man, I'm glad that Aubrey took that step. What would you tell them, like if they're still feeling the way that you are, because you know that there's, hundreds and thousands of service members, veterans that are feeling the same way that you felt. What would you tell them to do, like right now in this moment? First steps.
Pause. I would say pause. Not get in your feelings, not get into your thoughts. I would say pause. I would say identify the biggest friction point that you're experiencing, the one that continues to fuck with you, the one that continues to clog your brain up and take your time. Identify what that is. And then I would say, look at your options. Look at what resources you have, what people you can talk to. Because the only way you're going to make it through this shit is to talk. You got to have a conversation. You can't be in your feelings. You can't be thinking about what people going to think about me. You got to fight for your life. Put that shit to the side and talk to whoever going to talk to you. And if you're talking to a person and the energy don't feel right, don't force it. Go find somebody else to talk to. But you got to go through the numbers until you find that person that is going to be able to give you something. And it's not going to be anything big. I got some small things from different places, like the alcohol group. I got the serenity prayer. That's when I pause. Something that happened, I pause. God, grant me the serenity to accept things I can't change. Give me the courage to change things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And once I go through that, and after I assess the situation, I can't change it. Oh well, God's plan. I'm gonna keep it moving. And last thing I would say to whoever these people are or that person is, you have the right to be selfish about your life. You have the right to be selfish about your life. Stop putting yourself on the back burner. I did that shit for 12 years. Do not put yourself on the back burner, because it's like cancer. It's gonna grow and manifest inside you. It's gonna take over your body. It's gonna take over your mind, and eventually you're gonna lose your life or ruin a life that you do have that you're probably not gonna want it anyway. I've been suicidal before. I've even tried to drive my Cadillac off Ladies Island Bridge when I was on Paris Island. I've been having some of my best friends like get on my ass for the past couple months now. Like, I can't remember. Man, I can't believe you went through all that. I'm just not finding out about it 15 years later. I said, man, my bad, bro. My bad. So don't do that, because it's gonna grow inside of you. It doesn't have a face. It doesn't have a race. If you're experiencing something, it's gonna try to take over you. You gotta fight that. You gotta fight that.
Wow. So would you say that community played a big part in you recovering and getting back to Aubrey McDade Jr., like how you are right now?
Yeah, I'm not fully there with him yet. I'm not fully back to, well, I don't believe in going back. I haven't really created the version of myself that I can look at and be pleased with yet. It's not about the accolades and all this kind of stuff. It's just about how I feel. Me and my kids do a check-in, head, heart, stomach. What's your mental? What's your physical? How you feeling? And they're not all on the same page yet. So I'm still working to get him. But if you think about like rock climbing, you might climb up a quarter of the way, anchor yourself in. You're in a much better spot at a quarter of the way up than you was on the ground. So you got to anchor yourself in. That's what the community is. That's who those people are. So I went through all that stuff on Paris Island, and now that I'm not a Marine Corps drill instructor no more, I can give it to the recruits. Recruits were my anchor. I would come in, I'd raise hell and do all the stuff I'm doing, and they sound off, and I'm busting their hearts out their chest and doing all the stuff that I'm doing with them. That kept me sane. It kept me sane. My recruits helped be a part of saving my life. I leave Paris Island. I get to 29 Palms, California. I got Wayne Allen. I got Michael Smith. I got Jonte Schmuck. I got White Chocolate Wade. And they took me under their wing, you know. And after I left 1-7, San Diego, recruits again. Recruits again helped me stay sane. I deployed a couple times in 1-7. That helped me kind of keep my mind going or keep my mind kind of quiet. And then obviously I got my dudes from Paris Island. I got a whole bunch of them. All y'all know who y'all are. I appreciate y'all. I ain't even gonna go down this list of all these names. But obviously the two that comes to the list, because these are my family. You got Marcus Williams, you got Marion McClary, you got Eric Thompson. Like, these dudes lock in with me like almost every day. And they didn't even know they was even doing that for me. So that's why I was telling y'all earlier, when you talking to somebody and you can feel their energy, people gonna let you know who they are by their actions. You ain't gotta ask nobody for anything. When you have the courage and you find the vulnerability to let somebody know, hey man, you got a minute? Or hey, Miss Lady, you got a minute? Hey, can I rap with you about this? Is what I'm going through. You can tell by their vibes if they really got you or not. You ain't got to ask somebody for anything. You just got to put the work in to find those people. You got to fortify your position. You got to build your circle so you can build your circumstances.
Wow. So from this point, what's the vision, man? What do you got in store?
Man, that's the hard part, bro. Like, I'm doing some awesome things in the Thompson Center, and we're growing. We're getting to the point to where we're going to really be able to start bring about more change. I got a good friend of mine, little brother of mine, actually, Antoine Stewart out of Houston. He and I are working on this nonprofit called Life Changers 365, and it's for men and women without fathers or in the foster care system under the ages of 21. And I was in foster care at an early age, and I grew up without a dad. So again, this is God just putting stuff in. Hey, Aubrey, what you think about this? And I'm like, yes, sir. I'm gonna keep it moving. So we're still in the planning stages of it now, but I'm really excited about the potential that we're going to be able to bring to the world with that as well.
Oh, that's interesting. That it sounds like everything that you've done, like to this point, has been about taking care of people. And it seems like it all kind of makes sense to me. I didn't know that you were in the foster system. I know that is a horrible place to be. Do you feel like that's kind of where you got those character traits from, knowing how it feels like to be in that system? So you kind of picked up the caregiver role?
Well, honestly, man, I don't know what it's like to be in the system. I was taken from my parents when I was a baby, and man, you won't believe this. I didn't find out I was born in Pasadena, California until about 15, 16 years ago. This whole time I'm thinking, man, I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. I'm Third Ward, Houston, Texas. That's where I'm from. Now this is where I had to just endure what I had to endure. But I was actually born in Pasadena, and both of my parents crack addicted, and whatever they did for the Child Protective Services to come take me and my brother, they came and took us, and I was only there for maybe 6 months to a year. They got me or got us back, and they fled to Texas. I think, unfortunately and fortunately, due to my parents' choices that they made, I was forced to be a parent at a very young age. Like, my sister and I are 5.5 years apart, and you talk to her, she's gonna say, "That's my daddy right there." And I was doing a mean ponytail when I was like 10, 11 years old.
I know how to do one too, man.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, man. So I just think that all the things that I had to endure as a kid, it just forced me to be resilient. It forced me to be resilient. And Sade Nicole McDade, my baby sister, she gonna never have to ask me more than once. I'm gonna figure it out. And she ain't missing no meals. If the lights get turned off, I'm gonna get a candle. I'm gonna figure it out. But she ain't gonna be without. And I think that having that responsibility and that ownership for her and my mama at the time, because she probably won't ever be mature enough to say it, but I took care of her too. I raised her too, for the most part. No disrespect to my mom, because she still slapped people in the face. But yeah, man, I think it was that. And then when I got to the Marine Corps, and I really did get an opportunity to really meet some real men, some real role models, and see what they were doing for us. My first encounter with one of my favorite Marines ever was Lance Corporal Anthony Romero, a Lance Corporal, bro. Like, I was like a groupie, dog. Like, this dude could have been so amazing in the Marine Corps to me, because he was that Marine. He was that guy for me. And then after him, it was Nicholas Pascuzzi. First two Marines I had in Bravo Company 1-8, they was firm, they was fair, and they trained hard and played harder. And everything that I know about the Marine Corps, and in addition to the things I'd already gone through to become the man I want to be, I took a whole bunch of stuff for those two Marines.
Wow. Something else I was thinking about, bro. You speaking about your life, you speaking about some of the challenges that you've been through. Does that provide sort of a healing to you?
Yeah. So one of these times in my therapy session, man, Dr. Guy, Shiva Guy, she was in San Diego. She's not there anymore, I don't think, but she is godsend, to say the least. And one of our therapy sessions, she was talking about a most traumatic event, and I told her about it, and we kind of got into this whole debate about it or whatnot. And then she started asking me other questions, and she said everything we experience is all in some way, shape, form, or fashion connected. So it's all connected to my childhood. So I started telling her about that. She was like, "Okay, we gotta reorganize the fight plan now." Like, what did I say? Something? No, I just got some new information, and it's all making sense to me now. So when I finally got the courage to be vulnerable, man, and start having conversations with people, and just allowing my transparency to help somebody else go get through whatever they got to get through, this is healthy for me. This right, being able to have this dialogue with you. I don't give a damn who's watching.
Yeah.
But you and I have been able to do this, and everybody else listening, I'm hoping that we're going to be able to help somebody. But for me, I'm growing. I am growing.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because, dude, we have some conversations. Dude, there's sometimes we'll be texting back and forth, and I'm like, you make me smile just seeing somebody looking out for me. You know what I mean? And the folks that's watching this, I urge you right now to find you a battle buddy, somebody that will not let you go friggin' months, weeks, or years without checking in with them. That is so freaking critical. We have, especially if you're a veteran, man, you got so many people just pulling up to the VA and often themselves when, they forget that they have people that care for them, people that love them. So I think that it's really important to tell your people how you feel about them, stay in their lives, and stay on their butts. With you, man, dude, again, you mean the world to me, man. I love your vision. I can't wait to the world see what you got going on. We've been talking behind the scenes, and dude, you're going to do something incredible, bro.
My man, I appreciate that, man. I want to say this, though. I want to say this in addition to what we were talking about earlier. For those people who may be going through something, do not compare your trauma to nobody else's. That's yours. Don't marginalize yourself. If you stumped your toe and you have nightmares about it, go get some help. Go talk to somebody. It ain't worth it for you to put your pride in the way, and well, he got some guys out of an ambush, or he done been shot at by a freaking machine gun or RPG. None of that matters. None of that matters. You're going through something. Do what you got to do to take care of yourself, because there's a lot of people out here that love you. There's a lot of people out here that need you. There's a lot of people out here that want you to be okay. This is not about you. This is not about you. What you're going through is about you, but this life that we're living is not just about you. What are you going to leave behind? Nobody wants to wake up and see their loved one and hurt themselves, or the loved one is gone. I won't call anybody who's committed suicide or any of that stuff. I won't use that, because it's a real sickness. A lot of people saying that's a coward way, and teach his own. But for me, you going through something, at least go out with a fight. go out swinging. Don't just do whatever it is you do to hurt yourself or whatever, and not at least give somebody an opportunity to help you get past that. We don't have to. We don't have to.
Why do we do that as veterans? Why do we do that alone, man?
I think it's the approval. I think it's the approval, and I don't want to get on my soapbox behind that. But some people, just in my opinion, y'all, don't hold me accountable to this. If I say something that's crazy, cuss me out, whatever. I don't care. But for me, some people seek approval. Some people want other people to validate what they're experiencing. You don't need that because it's your experience. You're the one experiencing it. And then on the other side, some people probably aren't aware of the resources they have. And the people that they do have as a resource is probably a day late, dollar short. I got these people in my circle, but I don't trust them enough to have a conversation with them. Or I don't respect them enough to let them carry some of the stuff that I'm carrying. It's a whole bunch of stuff that may be involved in that, man. I'm only speaking about the things that I experienced. For me, when I went through everything, early on, when I was on thinking about hurting myself and all these people I was telling you about, me, myself, I didn't say anything to anybody because I believed that I could figure it out on my own, but also I didn't want anybody else to worry about all the things that I was carrying for myself. It was just me still trying to take care of other people. So instead of y'all worrying about this, I'm going to figure this out. But when I put these cameras on, I'm going to be there for you. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I don't know why everybody else, but.
And that don't make and we all do it. And it don't make no doggone sense because when you told your support system what you're going through, they're like, dude, what the heck?
Yeah.
You mean this much to me. You mean that much to me. And that's why I firmly believe in, dude, when I'm thinking about somebody running through my mind, I freaking hit them up. If I'm going through some hard times, I freaking hit those people up. Look, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. And I really wish we could normalize that as veterans. We talk all the time about, what the VA ain't doing, what the DAV ain't doing, what the Army, what the Marines ain't doing. But what about what we're doing? The accountability for ourselves to reach out to one another, to lift each other up, to reach out freaking to ourselves and go on that journey of self-discovery like you did by lifting yourself up. You freaking went to an AA class and you wasn't even freaking addicted to alcohol. I mean, that is in itself, man. Oh my God, that's so freaking incredible.
Like I said, if it went for Ross Blaine, bro, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You got people in your life for what's the saying? For a season or something like that, All the seasonal people in my life, man, they must got some long seasons, bro, because they done been here for some double-digit years. So I'm not expecting any leaves to fall off.
Yeah, man, we're getting some comments. I just saw a comment come in. Hey, they're gonna kill me if I don't ask you about the story. If you wouldn't mind sharing with us how you were awarded the Naval Cross.
Okay, so obviously you can read online. I got 3 of my guys out of an ambush. So I wasn't even supposed to go on that deployment. I wasn't even supposed to go. Truth be told, I was afraid to have surgery. I heard that the Navy was going to mess you up and mess your career up, and you're going to be walking with a limp. So I didn't want to have the surgery on my ankle. So my company at the time, they were doing a cold weather training package, Bridgeport, Norway, all that stuff. And so I was doing the barracks, police sergeant thing, and picking the new Marines from Geiger. And when I picked them up from Geiger, I realized, I'm like, man, when they come back from this training, we're going to go on leave, and then we're going to deploy. And I got, give or take, 20 new guys that have no training. They've never done a field op. They come straight from Camp Geiger, and now they're here in our barracks, and they're going to have any training. And God just put it on me, man. It didn't sit right with me. So the doctor at the time, our battalion doc, I went and called him because he got orders. He was leaving. So I went to go catch him before he left the unit. And I told him, I said, hey, doc, I need you to sign off on me being able to deploy. He's like, sorry, McDade, I can't do it. You got ligaments hanging in your ankle like shoestrings. I'm like, doc, but man, I've been rocking on this ankle for my entire enlistment. I'll be fine. And he was like,
and you trying to deploy with
right. And he's like, he's in good faith, I just can't do it. I said, doc, man, I need you to do this, bro. Like, I need you to do this. I got Marines out here that have no training. Yeah, I had them out there with broomsticks trying to do butter jam and all this other kind of stuff, but it was nothing close to real training, nothing that was going to prepare them for what we had to experience. But either way, Doc told me, he said, man, I will sign off on you being able to deploy if you pray with me. I looked around, I was like, bet. And we dropped down, prayed, signed off on it. My unit already come back by then, and they was doing a ECP, VCP, that's entry control point, vehicle control point, all that little stuff at the Area 2 gym on Lejeune. So I ran over there and so, hey man, I'm deploying with y'all. And at the time, Captain Noble and Staff Sergeant Brown at the time, they was like, don't come over here shit. And I was like, you really going? Like, yeah, I'm gonna go. So trained up with them and we went out there, man, and I was hoping we didn't go. The whole time I hope this is just another 6-month deployment. I want to go home. I don't want to do none of this stuff. And obviously we get the call. We go to Camp Fallujah. We hang out there for a little bit and we get the call that we're going into Fallujah. We're going to Fallujah, man. And it was so hard to believe, bro. Like it was like I was having an outer body experience. Like we had psyops riding around the place. Blazing drowning pool, bro. Let the bodies hit the floor. I'm like, what the hell is these people doing out here? Like, we disrespectful as crap out here in Iraq.
But they're like listening to that?
Yeah, I'm talking about, you know how South, they got the speakers on the outside of the Humvee. They were blaring. Yeah. I'm talking about, you got Marines out there pumping their fists. I'm like, man, this ain't real. We're not out here like this. This is not real. It was real. Buildings was exploding and collapsing. You see purple, green, orange, all kind of colors. But explosions and all kinds of stuff. And it still wasn't real for me. And I forget the name of this place that we were at. Blame it on TBI. Don't blame it on my heart, y'all. But I forget the name of the place. And they got real for us, man. It was a sniper out there, and he was taking us out. You know, Sergeant Wells. You know, you got Gun Sergeant Shane. You got Jimenez. Like all these guys got hit, and it was real for us. They were in another platoon, but it was real for us. And you know, under the cover of darkness, we leave and we're going to our checkpoint. We're going to our second checkpoint. And before we left to go on the deployment, you know, I'm a young sergeant. It's my platoon commander, my platoon sergeant at the time. I'm a young sergeant. You got my other dude, Sergeant Williams, that was in this briefing with me. And they were talking to us about the Iraqi Special Forces and what their identification marking is going to be and all that stuff. And it was a red bandana on the right arm and a white bandana on the left leg, or maybe vice versa, right? And my mind, I'm like, man, I played cops and robbers before as a kid, and I was cheating all the time. I'm pretty sure these people do it in real life. So young Sergeant McDade stand up, hey, you know, good afternoon, gentlemen, Sergeant McDade, Bravo Company 1-8 killed. Hey, what you got, Sergeant? I say, sir, what happens if the Iraqi Special Forces, you know, switch sides or change their mind or the enemy adopts their marking? And I was told, hey, devil dog, don't what if everything. So go out there and get the job done. Hoorah. My mind was like, hell no, ain't no new hoorah. That's a legit question. So either way, back to where we was at, we were moving to our second checkpoint, and Corporal Anderson, may rest in peace, he halted the patrol, pushed us outboard, and he would start describing Iraqi Special Forces ahead. Now, our REs was, you know, kill the enemy on sight. Iraqi Special Forces shouldn't be in our area of operation. They should be chaperoned by the Army. They shouldn't be in our area of operation. But they were. Oh, so we thought. And we had these little raggedy PRR radios, man. It's like line of sight. You can see the person, you probably talk to them. You know, but when you're patrolling, you got your dispersion and stuff. So me and my machine gun team, we were like way in the back of the formation. So I can hear everything that's going on. Anderson talking about, sir, I think we got Iraqi Special Forces ahead. And him and our platoon commanders talking about it. And I'm like screaming to the top of my lungs, open fire, open fire, open fire. They couldn't hear me because I'm on this piece of crap radio. So I give the machine gun over to Corporal Rose, and he orients the machine guns, and I just take out running, bro. And I remember when I was running, I was like, man, why the hell am I running so slow? I'm a pretty fast dude. Why am I running so slow? And it felt like I was running in slow motion. By the time I get to the front of this patrol, all hell had already broke loose. It already broke loose. They opened up the alleyway with the machine gun. I think they even had some explosives, I think maybe some grenades or RPGs or something. And I get there, and Staff Sergeant Brown had already, Staff Sergeant Brown at the time, he's Chief Warrant Officer 4 now, but at the time, he had already established CCP, Casualty Collection Point. So I get up there, like, hey, Staff Sergeant, what's going on? He said, man, we got some Marines hit, and I think Anderson is dead. And I was like, damn. I said, Staff Sergeant, I go get him, just don't let me die. And he told me, he said, man, we don't have close air support, we don't have tank support for like the next maybe 45 minutes. And I asked Staff Sergeant. So in my mind, I was like, well, if we possibly got somebody that's dead or even seriously injured, as he already told me, I'm gonna rely on speed. I'm gonna take this gear off. So I took all the gear off. And my nervous thing is, bro, I drop down and do push-ups. I still do it to this day. I don't know why. If I get nervous or I just feel uncertain about something, I drop down and do some push-ups. And I did that. And I took off across the alleyway. And the first Marine I landed on was Lance Corporal Kelly. And Lance Corporal Kelly later became an officer and went to Afghanistan. He passed away in Afghanistan with his fight with his Marines. So may he rest in peace as well. But he oriented me to where the Marines were at. And I say this respectfully, y'all. I humbly believe that God just moved me through this alleyway, bro. I can't sit up here and tell you that I knew where Russell was at, or I knew where Dominance was at, or I knew where Anderson was at. Dominance and Russell, respectfully, they were boots, the young guys in the Marine Corps. So they knew me and I knew, but we didn't have that relationship. However, Anderson, I had a hand in hand in training him or even sometimes hazing him. This guy was just a good ass Marine, bro. He was just that guy. I think he's from Ohio, little bitty guy, but he ain't had a short man syndrome. He had the big man action. He was just that guy. So that's really who I was looking for. Not to say that I wasn't looking for everybody else too, but on my mind, that's who I'm looking for. So when Kelly orients me to where the Marines were at, I get up and I run and I jump over this porch. And it had this pretty big cemented block porches. And I accidentally land on this cashier of Marines. And I'm asking, hey, are we good? Are we good? Who's hit? Who's hit? And this Marine is screaming, I'm hit, I'm hit, I'm hit. And as I'm looking at him, the first face that I see is Anderson. But when I really get myself together, it's Russell. So we're laying there and the enemy is eating this porch up, bro. Like, they got the same munitions that we have. They got 50 cal machine guns. They got.
So y'all like in a neighborhood?
Yeah, we're in a neighborhood in the back, like a row of houses. And so he and I land on top. I'm laying on top of him, helping him take his gear and stuff off. And as I'm taking his gear off, or helping him take his gear off, I'm like, man, I don't know how the hell we're gonna get out of here. So I'm not really sure how this happened. I'm looking forward to having this conversation too. When all my Marines get to the point to where they're healthy, I want to know their different parts of what they had to do, because if my 240 doesn't get the rocking and rolling, I don't know if I'm here. So Rose somehow got the machine gun oriented to the enemy and started firing on them, which gave them a break in fire against us. So I was able to pick Russell up on my shoulder. As I'm running across the alleyway with him, I remember bursts of munitions hitting about maybe 5 or 10 feet in front of me, about 5 or 10 feet in back of me. But every time they would impact around me, it would get closer. And as we were getting closer, I remember thinking to myself, like, damn, they're bracketing me. And when I accepted that they're probably going to hit me, I fell into a pothole. And we fell in perfect position. Russell was perpendicular to the incoming rounds. I was perpendicular to the incoming rounds. And a burst of munitions. I remember looking at Russell because I'm thinking about I need to get up and get him. I remember him laying there screaming in pain. and bullets hit like right in front of him, skipped past him, and then hit on the backside of him. And I went to go pick him up and kind of just carried him like this, got him to the CCP. And so I come back out, and this time I say, you know what, I'm gonna try to stay low to the deck. And so I'm low crawling, but like with my face to the ground, you know how they teach you the piano feel, all this stuff. I'm low crawling, and there's bullets just hitting around me. The one little bush or two little bushes that was out there, they were on fire, and I'm just crawling. And so I know that the enemy must have night vision capability as well, because y'all see the blessing of this darkness. I was in darkness, right? And I'm just doing my thing, and I get to this porch, and I know it was a porch. I jump over it, and I accidentally land on top of Dominance. Dominance is my little Dominican homie from Florida. Yeah, he got this. Now he got little man syndrome. He talks like really fast, like I do, and he's probably about 5'5", maybe 5'6" or whatnot. But get his gear stuff off, get him back to the CCP. Now Russell, when he got hit, I think it was his right leg. No, left leg. His left leg, he got hit. And not to be too gory for everybody's watching, but his leg was hanging by a piece of flesh. So I think that was probably about as big as your wrist, because I remember it was just dangling. And then when I dropped him, it was even more damage. And Dominance, he got shot between the neck and the shoulder. I'm not sure what side. So finally, when I get Dominance back to the CCP and I come out, we have tank support there. Now, I won't lead everybody to believe that I was running and jumping and all this stuff for 45 minutes. I believe that we had some hoorah motivated tankers that came over there and said, no, I'm going to get some, and I'm going to get these guys out of this situation. So when they came, there's a phone on the back of the tank. So I grabbed the phone on the back of the tank, and I'm talking to the tank crew, and I'm trying to use the tank for cover and concealment. We just, maybe a week prior, we just did tank integration, and I forgot all about the exhaust on the back of the tank. So as I'm trying to hide and make sure I don't get shot, I get burnt by the exhaust on the tank. So like, oh, snap. And so I get back to the tank, and I'm talking to the tank crew. And as I'm telling them, I said, man, I don't know how far the enemy, I don't know where the enemy is or whatever the case may be. I just know they're coming from this direction. And they find them. And as I'm thinking about my wound or whatever, and I'm talking to them, they fire tank rounds. And it dazed me. Like, I think it probably gave me a concussion, because I had snot coming out my nose, ears ringing, and my vision went out for whatever reason. So I just touched the tank, and I just try to stay close to it as I can, and they fired another round. And now, like, my whole body feels like it's like shaking and nervous. But I just maintained positive contact with this tank, and as my senses regathered, I was standing over Anderson's body. I can't tell you that I remember how I got there or none of that. I know there it was me, Staff Sergeant, at the time, Staff Sergeant Knopf. He was a combat cameraman who went, put his camera down and picked his weapon up and his pistol. And I don't remember who else was there, but me, him, and we stand over Anderson's body, get him back to the CCP, medevac him. And the hardest part of the whole thing, besides losing those guys, was having to swallow that pain and those tears that I want to shed for myself, because now I got to get everybody else out of their feelings. I got to get them all out of their feelings. I got to act like, ain't no act. We got to get this done. We got to go out here and make sure that they didn't die for anything. I mean, they didn't die for nothing, should I say.
Wow. Dude, thank you for sharing that story. What an incredible story. Just to cap it off, when you found out that you were going to get the Naval Cross, was it a surprise to you?
It was. I told my first sergeant when we was getting ready to leave Fallujah, I told him, and everybody was proud of me and all that stuff, and, thank you. I said, man, look, let's just leave Fallujah here. Let's leave it here. And that's 2004. In 2005, we get back. I'm a drill instructor in San Diego. I'm a drill instructor in Paris Island on my second cycle, and I learned I'm getting Navy Cross when the depot commander comes into my squad bay as I'm ITing recruits. I don't know if I got time for that story, but it's a pretty good one. Yes, I didn't find out until 2007 that I was getting Navy Cross.
Wow, and you got it in front of your recruits?
I did, man, and I didn't want to. Long short of it, the battalion commander, obviously he had a Navy Cross citation in his hand. I was ITing for recruits, and he came in. He sent the recruits away, and he took me inside of our duty hut, and we were talking about where do you want, well, he was asking, where do you want me to give you the Navy Cross at? Like, sir, I don't have a Navy Cross. He was like, Aubrey McDade Jr.? Like, yes, sir. Yeah, you got a Navy Cross. And I'm like, no, sir, I don't have a Navy Cross. I got in my feelings, got emotional because I thought that whole thing was over with. And long and short of it, he was trying to figure out a good way to present it to me. And I was telling him, you can give it to me right now. Or you can give it to me right now. We ain't got to have an award ceremony, none of that. You give it to me right now. And he was like, do you think I'm going to give you the nation's second highest award in a somewhat squared away squad base, Sergeant? I'm not doing that. Like, well, sir, if you're going to tell me what to do, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And he's like, no, I don't want to do it like that. I want it to be, this is a good day for the Marine Corps. You can impact the Marine Corps for years to come. So I told him, sir, I'm not going to get this award if I'm not getting it in front of my Marines. So he sent a fleet of buses up to Jacksonville, North Carolina, picked up everybody in the battalion that was there, brought them down to Paris Island, and doing my second cycle graduation in front of my platoon, I was awarded the Navy Cross.
Wow, dude, that's freaking incredible. Dude, yeah, thank you for sharing that. Looks like we're running out of time. Man, I want to tell you, bro, I'm looking forward to seeing what you got next. I know that you're cooking with some fire, bro. I appreciate you. And dude, thank you again for doing this. You got any parting words for the audience?
We only got one time to do this, y'all. And it took me a long time to realize that we got one time to live this life on purpose, on our own terms. And if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. So make it count. If you got any bad blood with somebody, it ain't worth it. Let that go. If you got somebody you ain't told you love them in a while, give people their flowers while they still breathing. Standing vertical is a blessing, and we should appreciate it every day.
Awesome, dude. Beautiful, bro. I love you, man. I want to say thank you to our sponsors, Stars and Stripes, Parade Deck, Speak University, and Dallin Taylor Promotions. We are out of here.
Love and respect to everybody. Appreciate it.
Whew, that was great. If you enjoyed this podcast, well, I'm sure you enjoyed it. If you're still here with us, what I want you to do is head over to your favorite podcast and streaming network and give us a download, subscribe to the channel, and also let us know what you think about the show. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you for the things that you've done. Thank you for the things that you're doing. And especially thank you for the things that you're going to do, because I know that you're going to do something amazing.